How's it going, everybody? This is Alex Caceres, and you're listening to Story of the Fight.
What is up, Will?
What up, what up?
Welcome, everybody, to Story of the Fight. My name is Miro. That's my boy, Will, and this is where we talk all things combat sports. Today, we'll be talking UFC 308. But before we get rolling, I want to remind everybody to please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Goes a long way. We're trying to reach 20,000 subscribers. We're steady climbing. What are we at now, Will?
Still like 15,400, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there. But also, you can find us outside of YouTube, right?
Yes. Anywhere podcasts are found: Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube Podcasts. Our socials, it's Story of the Fight on everything: Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, Twitch. StoryoftheFight.com will list everything. Click through, hit subscribe, hit follow. Do yourselves a favor.
It's so easy. Like, if you can't find us, you're really just not trying hard enough. Story of the Fight everywhere. Can't make it any easier.
Easy.
Unless we did like SOF.
Yeah, but then it's like there could be so many different things.
That is true. Like, people can then just take the way they want to, you know?
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, what do you say we get started, man? We have a lot to talk about. UFC 308.
Yes, we're talking about a lot of fights.
Yes, covering a lot of fights. We're talking about a lot of undefeated fighters that stayed undefeated.
Well, I think it was something like only one fight had a blue corner fighter winning or something like that.
Nuts.
I think it was one fight. Could be wrong.
But hey, we'll start off with the main event. A lot of people were looking forward to this. And I know we say that a lot, but no, this time a lot of people were really looking forward to this main event. We had Ilia Topuria versus Max Holloway. Blessed.
Is it?
Man. Okay, so going into this.
God.
Yeah, dude. Look, a lot of folks are Max Holloway fans. He's still amongst the top of the division. Never went away, right? I know he lost to Volkanovski, but a lot of people still regard this guy as one of the best, if not the best in the division. But look, we have this young fighter, this young gun coming in telling everybody that he's going to knock him out, that he's going to beat him. He fights Aleksandar Volkanovski. I'm talking about Topuria. And he beats Aleksandar Volkanovski with the right hook. Knocks him out. And everybody was like, look, slow it down, because Volkanovski just got beat up by Makhachev. Right?
Yeah,
so that's why he lost.
Came back too soon.
And Topuria was like, whatever, guys. All right. Like, I'm the man now. Put me up against anybody in the division. And here comes Max Holloway. Because everybody has said, like, Max Holloway beats anybody not named Volkanovski.
Yeah, exactly. And then he's coming off knocking out Justin Gaethje at lightweight. So you're like, he could take the power from Ilia. Everyone's like,
well, if you do all that MMA math, you subtract 1, square root of 9, everything, you're like, okay, Holloway's winning, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
then you look at the odds.
Yeah. And I was like, wait a second, what does Vegas know that I don't? So, by the way, though, going into this, I will say I picked Ilia Topuria to win this fight. Young fighter, very powerful, great boxing, very well-rounded, right? And we know that, especially at this weight division, as you start climbing up in age, you start seeing a lot sooner. And Max Holloway, look, he's still young, but he's got a lot of miles on him.
He's old in the game. He's been hit more than any active UFC fighter.
Old in the game, like Snoop Dogg, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the things, that he's such a volume striker that comes in the territory. If you're constantly throwing, you're leaving openings. Like, it's just happening, right?
Yep.
And so, yes, he's winning all those fights by avalanche, but it's not like he's not getting hit. You know, he's still getting hit more than anybody else in the UFC. Does add up. That being said, I don't even think that's that much of a factor in this fight. I really don't. I think Ilia
he looked
just
fantastic
cracks.
at first with his footwork.
Dude.
You know, as Ilia was coming in, he was having a really hard time closing the distance in the beginning, and
Especially
he had this beautiful, like, a small shuffle back, and he'd get that left check hook as Ilia was coming in. He kept on cracking Ilia with that over and over again.
I liked I really like the switch high kick on the left side, because Ilia, that's one thing that everybody has said. Ilia struggles with southpaws, because there's a clip of Who's a flat earther? Bryce Mitchell, teeing off on him really in southpaw. Was it Jai Herbert that hit him with the high kick on the?
Rocked him, right?
Yeah, everyone said the two weaknesses, if you can even call them weaknesses, the two glimpses of success against Ilia has been the open side head kick and outside leg kicks, because he stands so heavy on his lead leg so that he can do all the head movement stuff, right? And so I really like the switch high kick on the open side from Max. Never really landed, but it's a good look, and he was flicking it out a ton, and you're like, okay, that is good. I wish he had more time in southpaw, but he didn't, but it didn't really matter. I mean, like at the end of the day, he still fought an excellent fight, and he was right there with. I think Ilia probably took the 2 rounds. You could argue round 1 for Max.
Ooh, close. Yeah, the first round was really close.
Yeah, I think maybe you do Max round 1. Ilia started finding his range in the second, I thought.
Yes.
Not like he was outclassing him at any point, it was still very close. Like these guys, they're so good, both of them. And yeah, Max is long in the tooth and he's had a lot of miles on him and stuff like that. But that being said, it was still so evenly matched, and it was volume versus power. And even Ilia was landing at a decent clip, I think. But ultimately, Ilia's 2 weapons, man. That his left hook is so good. You see it in this photo. The left hook is so good. He can use that same entry as a hand trap. The overhand right is phenomenal. And just really with those 2 punches and his distance awareness and his footwork and his head movement, man, he can really set some traps and just fuck people up with that power. It's crazy, dude.
He's so fundamentally sound, man. Mechanics are just on point, and
Yeah.
his fight IQ. And look, I had because I use underdog, right? So it's almost like prize picks, I guess you could say.
I saw the ads.
And and I picked Topuria to win, but by decision. I can't remember the last time I've ever seen Max get dropped.
He's only happened once going into this.
Yeah. Never been knocked out, right? Or did he
Never been knocked out.
Okay, and so I thought, super durable. He's got the Hawaiian chin on him. I think
Yeah.
Topuria will probably end up winning the later rounds because of his fight IQ. And so, like you said, after the second, I was like, okay, here we go. This is kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
And then he catches Holloway, man.
Yeah, and it's things that he preoccupies the hands of Holloway. Shout out Coleslaw. Ilia really shocked a lot of people. Yeah, I mean, I picked Max, but it was more of a heart pick more than a brain pick. And that's what gets me every time. But there's that open side head kick. But man, I knew this was a dangerous one. Just because, like I said, when you're a volume fighter, you are leaving openings and you are getting hit.
It's gonna happen.
And you can't get hit by Ilia, dude. You just can't get hit by him. And the way he set it up was so cool with just preoccupying Max's hands, because Max is such a pitter patter a lot of the time, right? And so he's once he felt Max's rhythm is when he's really started to go for it. And the finishing sequence is so fucking good, dude, from both sides actually, because it starts with the left hook look for a hand trap on Max. So Max's hands are outstretched and down. I think there's a photo of it. It might be coming up soon, actually. But he throws the left hand like a hook, but it's open palm. And then maybe the next picture, Rich. Yes. So there's the hand trap. When he throws that, you can't really tell. It looks like he's making a fist, but that left hand is open and it's pulling down on the hand of Max. He pulls down the hands, bam, that right comes right over the top, cracks him, and you see Max kind of look off to the rafters a little bit, and you're like, oh fuck, and he goes straight back. He's hurt, and Ilia, there it is. I mean, you see where his hands are. It's because of the hand trap, and he gets him against the fence and he's ripping him with some hooks, and Max weathers it and then exits, and you're like, oh shit, Max is still in this, man. This is good. He's still like he got hurt, but his recovery is insane. His chin's insane. He's in this. The way he exited that exchange was nasty. And then right here, the next, if we go back one picture, here is the the finishing sequence right after that. Literally the next exchange after he gets off the fence. And I'm like, all right, we're back in this. Ilya steps Ilya steps in and fucking Max throws that knee to the body that you see here, and he meets him in the middle with it, and you're like, nice. That's a good attack from Max here as Ilya closes the distance. And then again, the preoccupied hands. He then pushes Ilya away to disengage from this knee, which you see there. But then you see Ilya still in perfect form throwing that left hook over the top, and you're like, oh no, my boy. And that left lands and it drops him. And it was pretty much it. But look at the hands completely outstretched to push. I did this specifically
Rich going
because I
back
know
and forth
Rich
on the
is
picture.
yeah.
Oh
It's
man.
nasty, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
He drops
And
him. Yeah.
what a beautiful setup though. By Ilia
Beautiful, dude.
Topuria.
Yeah.
Again, people have been talking about his fight IQ. Ganscow putting a red rose in the chat for the Matador. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, dude, just beautiful performance. And I think that anybody that was questioning whether Ilia is a true champion or not, they can't question it anymore, man.
No, definitely not. I mean, he's on a path now, man. Knocking out Volkanovski and Max back to back is fucking crazy.
No, look at
I know.
Look
I
at
hate
Max
it.
right there. It looks like he's just looking off in the distance, looking in the crowd for somebody to help him. That was
Yeah,
rough.
and then meanwhile, the guy in the crowd sitting front row right there just looks completely unbothered. Could care less what's happening.
With his fist in his chin, you know what I mean? Just
Yeah,
kind of like chilling, dude. All right. Well,
yeah.
hey,
Ganskow says both main events went just about how I thought. I had my Ilya swag on. Yeah, I picked with my heart on both the main and the co-main, but I was like, I don't like this. I don't like either of these fights for my boys, but I'm gonna ride or die with
Ganscow,
them.
I don't know if you heard me or not, but I did pick Topuria, but I thought he was going to go the distance. So while I picked Topuria, I didn't pick the way that it was going to be finished the right way.
Man, he's just
It
so
is what it
dangerous,
is,
man.
dude.
He is so dangerous.
So Max Holloway is now saying, 155 is looking pretty good.
Yeah,
I think that's most definitely the move.
you do a BMF fight, right? With like Poirier or
Yeah.
they're saying maybe Dan Hooker. I don't know if Dan Hooker. I think that is a BMF fight, and I think it would be fucking awesome. But I don't think that's what they'll do. I think they want a bigger name for Max, probably.
Yeah. So right now, taking a look at the top 10, you have Rafael Fiziev, Mateusz Gamrot, Beneil Dariush, Michael Chandler, Dan Hooker, Max Holloway, number 5 right now. In lightweight, Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, Charles Oliveira, and Armen Tsarukyan before you get to Islam.
Yeah, I think you probably do. And this is one of those things where I think you probably do Dustin is what they'll do. Dustin says he has one more fight. I think that's a good fight for Dustin. They have history already, right?
If he wins, he rides off into the sunset with the BMF title, and then
Yeah.
a company can now sunset the belt because they're saying the BMF rode off with the belt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then I think here's the dark horse, and I don't think this is going to happen, but I could very well see
Ooh,
this, and I think maybe they should.
okay.
They're doing Oliveira versus Michael Chandler.
Yeah.
That frees up a certain somebody. If you do the rematch of Conor McGregor and Max Holloway for the BMF belt, because look, they're not going to put Conor in certain fights. He has 2 fights left on his contract. That's a fight that I could see them making that. I could definitely see them making that.
Ooh.
Because look, Max is number 5, but what's Chandler?
Chandler's number 7.
He has number 7, so they're going to do Conor versus Chandler.
And Chandler wants to go for the belt, right? So fighting a Charles
Yeah.
Oliveira makes sense for him. He beats Charles. He's right up there again.
Yeah, but Conor needs a big fight to come back to, and they're not going to give him a title shot. But the next biggest thing, I think, would be a BMF fight
BMF
with
title.
Conor and Max. It's a rematch.
Conor would want to be able to say, I held the featherweight, the lightweight, and also the BMF.
He would love it.
OMG, Will, you might have just booked the next blockbuster pay-per-view, dude.
I don't even like constantly like, well, where's Conor in this? Where's Conor in this? Should there be a Conor fight? But this is the one time where I'm like, actually, that makes sense.
Yeah, this is unheard of.
Yeah,
For you to pick or start thinking about a Conor McGregor main event.
I know. I know.
Well, hey,
What
props
can
to
I
you
say?
for thinking outside the box, sir. I'll
Is
give
it
you that.
even? Has anybody else said that? I feel like that's probably
I haven't seen it.
is that a crazy pick?
I haven't seen it. Did you
I
just
haven't
come in
either.
with a hot take?
Is that a hot take? I don't think it is.
I don't know. Probably not, but all right, man. Wait, that's all I got for the main event. A lot of tears shed last night for Max Holloway. Still one of the best to ever do it. One of the best featherweights to ever do it. Where does Max land in the all-time featherweight list for you?
Either 2 or 3. I go back and forth. It's either 2 or
You
3.
got
Him and
Jose
Volker.
Aldo.
Jose Aldo's number 1, and
Give
then
me
it's
Jose
Max
Aldo
Volk.
number 1. Give me Max number 2.
Volk 3.
Yes.
Yeah, it's hard
Yes.
because I mean Volk beat Max in his prime so many times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
I
know.
think you probably go Aldo, Volk, Max at this point.
You know what? You might be right, but give me Aldo number 1, Max number 2, Volk number 3. We'll stick with
Yeah.
that. All right, we'll go to the co-main
Well,
events.
what do you want next with Ilia? What's the title fight? Is it they're saying maybe the Volk rematch? They're saying Diego Lopez
No,
was the backup for this fight.
man, right now he's so hot right now. You know, just throw anybody his way. I think that
Whoa,
The
HLB
Ilya that.
Comer,
Oh, what up,
he's
HLB
back.
Comer?
Can somebody hold
Yes,
me
can
while we
somebody hold
cry
me?
together?
It's for
God,
real.
you're telling me,
Just
dude.
all of our arms around each other, dude, like, just looking down, tears pouring. But
Yeah,
look, I think that Ilya has a skill set. He's young. He's hungry. He wants to go down as one of the best to ever do it. I think that he is going to be one of those champions that you've been longing for, Will. Somebody that's going to stay in that division
I
and
hope.
just run through a ton of people. So
He's
let's
already
see
talking
who
about
else we have
becoming a
there.
3 division champ. It's like, bro,
He needs to chill.
he needs to
Uh,
chill. Shout
yeah,
out
we have
HLB.
Volkanovski, Diego Lopez, Yair Rodriguez,
Oh,
Mosvar,
the Yair fight. Give me
Orolbai,
that, dude. I want that.
Brian Ortega, Arnold Allen, Josh Emmett, Aljamain Sterling, Calvin Cater. Look, he has an
Look,
opportunity, I think, to run through those top 10.
I need to see him. If I could pick, if in my perfect world, they do a Volk rematch, they do Lopez, he needs to fight the winner of Evloev versus Aljamain. I'd like to see him against both those guys, Evloev and Aljamain Sterling. Like you said, Yair Rodriguez, I think is a great matchup that I'd love to see. Um, I mean, come on. Come on.
Yeah.
There's some great matchups. I hope he doesn't start doing 2 division bullshit when there's all those guys that they all pose something different. Like Evloev is a very different fight. Yair Rodriguez obviously is a very different fight. Volkanovski, we've seen it. I still kind of want to see it again. HW Comer, as I say that, says we don't want the Volk rematch. Enough dead people already. That's the one thing. I don't think I could take another
Yeah, I don't
Volkanovski
want to see a
knockout.
Volk rematch. I don't want to see a Volk
It's
rematch.
gonna happen though. It is
Shout out
happening.
Ghost. Thanks for joining us. He says, "What up, boys?
A shout out Ghost. If you hadn't
Talking fights with
seen
the
going into this,
boys."
Ghost did a multiple phenomenal breakdowns of these fights leading into them. They're very fun to read because he's so
Nice.
good. He does like the animations of like the fight clips because UFC is so tough on copyright,
Yeah.
but you still get the clips and they're just like the silhouettes that he does animations. It's fucking
Oh,
sick,
that's
dude.
so
It's a
sick.
very cool
That
way
is
to
so
do
sick.
it. Shout out Ghost.
Yeah. All right. Now we ready to move on?
I don't even want to move on to this one, dude.
Let's go to Khamzat Chimaev versus your boy, Bobby Knuckles, Robert Whittaker.
Dude, he looked locked in. He looked so locked in the face-off, in the walkout. I was like, my boy's fucking coming. Let's
You know
go.
who else looked locked in? Khamzat
Khamzat didn't
Chimaev.
even look locked in. Khamzat looked like he cared less what's going on. And
Because
that
he's
pisses
locked
me
in,
off
dude.
even more, dude.
Because he has so much confidence. He
I
kill
know.
everybody, you know?
Well, I'm glad
He
he
just
wasn't
wants to
like
come
that.
in and smash on everybody, dude.
Well, like in this one, the lead up, he was so like chill, you know? And real quick, before we get into this, shout out David in the chat said, why do you dislike fighters wanting to move up for a second belt? Do you mind if I take this one, Ramiro? Because I am
Go for it.
passionate about this one.
Go for it.
I think, oh, we got the solo. I think it's okay when a fighter goes and challenges for a new belt in another division. But they need to clear out their division first. There should not be any number one contenders knocking on the door. A champion going up to another weight class should not take away somebody else's opportunity to fight for the belt in their division. I think that's one of the worst things in this sport is when somebody earns a title shot. It's so hard to get a title shot. And if someone gets a title shot and earns one and deserves one and they don't get it, it's one of the things that I hate about the sport the most. You look at Jacare Souza, there's so many examples. Tony Ferguson never got the undisputed shot. Like, there's so many examples of somebody who could have achieved greatness and they did everything in their power to do that and they delivered, and then they don't get that opportunity and it passes them by and they miss it because it's lightning in a bottle. Sometimes it's so hard to defend the belt, let alone actually capture it. So when somebody has the opportunity and earned their shot and they don't get one because a champ is moving up when they have people knocking on the door, I do not like that. I do think it is cool when a champion moves up and gets a second belt. It is very cool, but it always is. There's a black spot involved in my mind when they left somebody waiting to do it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, and then David says, how is Ilia supposed to clear up division? There's always going to be the next guy in line. If anything, they can wait for a bit.
Not true. I don't think that's true. And with all due respect, David, that's a good point. I don't agree with it because that isn't the case. Sometimes there are champions who clean out divisions, and we've seen that numerous times. We're like, who's next? It happens all the time. But you have to do it first. Demetrius Johnson, Anderson Silva, John Jones, the list goes on. We've seen it so many times. But you got to clear it out first. You got to clear it out first. Your turn.
As I hear David, I like when fighters jump up to fight for the next belt because I love the entertainment factor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Will is a purist. He's a pure soul. He wants to see somebody go through and clear out the division, and I could see his side, but I can also see, just from a pure entertainment standpoint, seeing big names like an Ilia all of a sudden being matched up with Islam Makhachev and seeing just how great can an Ilia Topuria be. Like, he's fought a couple of featherweights, some of the best to ever do it at featherweight. And again, that's just me liking the entertainment factor. Not that I disagree with Will. Rich, our producer in the background, saying Will is a baseball boomer.
More.
But yes, I could see both sides of that view, David.
I get the entertainment value. For me, and maybe it's just because I long for the old days. We had certain champions who legitimately racked up title defenses, and I think that's more impressive than getting a second belt because anything can happen in a fight. You get 25 minutes to win a fight, and they get a second belt, and you're like, okay, cool. It is cool, but man, someone who lays down the gauntlet and defends the belt time after time after time after time, for me, that adds to their legacy and their greatness way more than a second belt because anything can happen in a fight. You catch somebody in a title fight, you get the belt. Okay, cool, you won a fight, but defending the belt over and over and over in 5-round camps, and that's hard. That's what makes a legacy, in my opinion, more so than a double champ.
For sure. All right. Now let's move on.
Now we can move on.
We had Khamzat Chimaev versus Bobby Knuckles, your boy, Robert Whittaker. Another sad fight for Will. Will, I could see you just huddled up in the fetal position, crying, just to sit up and watch Max and roll back down into the fetal once again.
Look, I thought, like I said, Robert Whittaker, he came in, he was locked in. I was like, all right, he needs to be locked in for this. He's got great takedown defense. He can do this. We saw, we've seen Khamzat be forced to stand and trade, and if Rob can do that, he could win this fight. And instead, after like 45 seconds, Khamzat shoots in
from a distance.
And Rob gets the hands down. He stops them in his tracks, but then he stumbles because Khamzat is just running through him carelessly because he can do that. Because it looks careless, but he knows what the fuck he's doing. And he's driving, and Rob stumbles, and that stumble allows Khamzat to work up fully into the takedown. and get him up against the fence. And from then on, it was defense, defense, defense from Robert Whittaker. And I was like, the whole time I was like, okay, we could drop this round. It's a 5-round fight. We could drop this round. He's defending pretty well, right? Khamzat's doing masterwork. And careful, Rich, there's not a ton of photos in this fight because it's grappling and the photographers don't take, or maybe they just don't upload the photos of the grappling. But Rob was doing a great job defending, but he was defending. And Khamzat was doing everything, man. The Dagestani handcuff, like he was passing, he was going to the back, he was getting a hook, like he was doing very good work. But I was like, that's fine. We can lose this round, you know. Team Robert, we can lose this round. They start on the feet the next round. And then, fuck, man. And then he gets his arm around the chin. I think it's the next photo, probably. He gets his arm around the chin, and Rob taps immediately. But when he got it around the chin, I was like, that's fine. He was running out of time. I think there was maybe like a minute left. What was the time?
I don't know.
3:30. So there was a minute and a half. And I was like, all right. Like we can do this. And real quick, Ghost is giving us some good breakdown stuff. He said the discourse is going to be how great and unstoppable Khamzat's wrestling is, but that's not the case. It's really good. Someone just needs to play off the fence and force him to guard pass. I could see that, yeah. And he says, like that photo. If we go back one photo, Rich, I'd like to see what he's pointing out here. In that photo, you see Rob getting his bottom knee to the fence. That was good to an extent. Yeah, I mean, he was defending and he was using the fence to peel. Like he was doing great defensive work. But ultimately, look, here's the thing that sucks. If we go to the next picture, Rich, Rob did everything right. He didn't even get a choke on Rob. That's the worst part. He didn't get he defended the submission well. It's just that Khamzat destroyed his fucking jaw with this. Like,
yeah, and it seemed like he went with a panic tap after that, right? So like when I first saw it, I was like, oh, he might have had the choke in. And maybe I just
knew
didn't
something was
see
wrong.
It. Oh, dude, that was rough.
It was bad, dude. And man, I hate this picture so much, but it's so good. And look, Khamzat is fucking good, dude. He's very good. And this is, in my opinion, you jumped the line. This is the title shot, in my opinion. And it is, and you're like, okay, we talked about it. He got the forearm over the mouth, and he tapped really quick. And you're like, what the fuck? So let's explain what happened. The next picture is the aftermath. Actually, I think there's a graphic warning photo coming up. Okay, so this is a picture of Rob's mouth after the fight. It is graphic. So if you're squeamish, here we go. And we probably won't leave it on the screen too long, but it's back to the graphic. Yeah, the front teeth are completely pushed in. That's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. HLB Comer says disgusting. I think this is. I hate when shit like this happens, and I absolutely hate when it happens to one of my boys. Like, why did this have to happen to Rob? And it's horrible, man. And Rob has since posted on Instagram. He said, "Thank you, everyone, for all the love and support. It's a tough gig sometimes, but that's the business. Big congratulations to Khamzat. He was the better man tonight, and that's all there is to it. I felt great. Everything was on point, and I was ready. My jaw is good, but my teeth are moved in. It's a good excuse to fix them properly now. Disappointed, but I come back better from every setback and every challenge. So that's I can't fucking read it when it's this small. Point is, he's in good spirits. Rob is the man. He's in good spirits. He's a true champion, a gentleman. His teeth are fucked, but clearly, there's all these videos of these doctors that anytime there's an injury or something in a UFC fight, they post these videos of like, doctor explains the UFC, and they're all talking about how fucked Rob is and how there's probably a break or a fracture. He's gonna have to get all this surgery, all this gnarly shit. There's another dentist on Reddit who's like, it really depends on what the x-rays show. Like, there's a very real chance this is not that big of a deal, and they just have to set them back and like they'll heal. And it's like, Okay,
Oh,
thank you for that. I need that. I need that.
that sounds awful.
Yeah, and Rob has always missed, he's always been missing, not always, but he's missing the 4th tooth on the front set on the bottom. Um, so I'm wondering if, like, because of that, there's, like, a weak point structurally that
And it
allows
just caved.
thing to happen? Yeah, I don't fucking know. And HW Comer says, "Was it really the choke?" Some people are saying it was an elbow before that. Could be. Like, it could have been something that cracked him, and then now they're more compromised, so the squeeze just did it in. I mean, just horrible.
Shout out Anonymous. Thanks for joining us. He says he will need the Kanye West teeth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
Kanye West had to have his jaw wired shut.
it's
Yeah.
horrible though, dude.
By the way, one of
And
the best songs he ever dropped, Through the Wire. Y'all listen
never
to
got
it.
into
Really
Kanye.
good. Oh, so good. So good. But
Ghost
yes,
says DDP versus Khamzat seems like chaos, which I'm all in for. I would
yes.
very much rather see that than the Strickland rematch.
I would love that fight.
I
Give me
hope
that
they
fight.
do it. Khamzat versus Dricus in South. No, they're doing Australia, right? Oh man, that's a great fucking fight. I want
It
that.
is. It is.
Can he
For now,
fight in
we'll have to
Australia?
wait. I was gonna say for
Can I-
now we'll have to wait until probably another Abu Dhabi card
Yeah, that's the
before we
thing.
see
Like, does
Khamzat.
Australia have sanctions over Kadriov or whatever?
I don't know.
Because he's not fighting in America.
That'd be tough, man. Imagine having Khamzat as the champion and you just can't bring him over to Vegas.
Well, here's the thing. Um, if he can only fight in certain places like that, they're going there so often now that how many times, like champions usually fight what, twice a year? Most champions, not
Yeah,
Alex
yeah.
Pineda, twice a year. So if they're doing two UAE cards and they're doing Saudi Arabia with Al Sheikh or whatever, you get Khamzat as the champ and he gets to fight twice a year, then like, all right, that's fine. Can't happen in America, but
Yeah, I was gonna say it'd just be tough to think that the UFC wouldn't want to bring him over, or not that they don't want to, but they wouldn't be able to bring him over to their largest market.
would they need to? Because
Oh, I
they
don't
get
know.
site fees when they go to the UAE and Saudi, and those would probably cover anything that Vegas would generate. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know, they're getting like $20 million just to be there, on top of the actual revenue from the fight. So I think
they'll
they're
survive.
probably fine with it. They'll be okay.
They'll survive. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah. HB Comer says, "How does the DDP fight go?" I'm done trying to pick fucking Dricus fights.
Yeah.
I mean, what can you even say? Yeah, both
Give me
DDP and
Khamzat though.
Chimaev are stupidly strong. I would like to think Khamzat wins that fight, but every time I doubt Dricus, he finishes somebody. So
I don't
maybe
know, man.
Dricus finishes him. I could see that being a fucking banger, though, dude.
Yep. But so far, I mean, we just covered Ilia Topuria and Khamzat Chimaev, both of them still undefeated fighters. We mentioned how this was a night of undefeated fighters.
Yeah,
And we'll move on to somebody that might not be undefeated, but only has one loss on the record. We had Magomed Ankalaev versus Aleksandar Rakić.
yeah, and we probably won't talk too much about this fight. Uh,
Nope.
it was a good showing for Ankalaev. He is very good at what he does. It is not a fan friendly style. Um, but I mean, he pretty much he made. I don't know. I don't want to say he made Rakić look bad, but he made Rakic's corner look horrible.
Oh, when
Uh,
they were telling him you're up 2-0.
yeah, and then Rakić is just circling for the whole third round when he really needs a finish. And you're like,
Yeah.
what is happening, dude?
When they called out, the who won, you think Rakić was super confused?
Yeah, he's probably like, yeah, pretty good night. I think I just got a title shot.
And then they call out Uncle Ives' name. He's like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, Ankalaev is so good at controlling the pace and really just dictating the fight. And
Mhm.
man, he knows when to throw his shots and he knows the setups to the body to set up the head. Like, he's clearly a student of the game and he's very good at securing victories.
Yep.
I'll give him that.
Rakic made some adjustments. Instead of the lower leg kicks, started going a lot with the body kicks. Threw some more high kicks than I expected, especially against Ankalaev. I thought that the fear would be there of Ankalaev grabbing one of those and just taking him down and holding him down for the rest of the round.
Yeah, well, Ankalaev has always been more of like a counter striker than anything else,
Yeah.
and that was always the difference because he wasn't one of like Habib's boys over there. He's like very much
Yeah.
a striker first, and then he'll chain some things, and then make horrible decisions like getting in Paul Craig's guard. But yeah, I mean, he got a title shot. I'm glad because he does deserve a title shot. Dana like pretty much confirmed it, but you never really trust that, I guess. But
Yeah.
I do really think Alex versus Ankalaev is a very interesting fight, and I do really want to see that because there's different puzzles. There's puzzles that Ankalaev brings to the table that Alex has not dealt with or at least done in the UFC.
And this would be another example of one of those champions trying to clear out a division.
Exactly.
You know, who's next in line from? Who is
Yeah,
next in line?
the English call out was hilarious at the end. Did you catch that at the interview?
No.
DC's like, you've been doing the English lessons. You want to do a call out? And he's got the translator literally saying each word first. Like he's like, Alex, and Uncle Alex. And it, like step in, like stop running or something like that. I forgot what he said, but it's literally word for word, like one word at a time. It's so funny.
Dang, now I don't feel so bad about the Portuguese I've been learning for the last year and a half, huh?
No.
All right.
Yeah.
That's all we got on that fight. We can move on to the next one. We're going to cover Lerone Murphy versus Dan 50K Ige.
What an incredible fight this was.
Lerone Murphy coming in, another undefeated fighter. Dan Ige, not undefeated.
Yeah, he's lost a few times. I fucking love both these guys, though. I think Lerone Murphy,
for sure.
Man, I think he really could be a contender. He would have been a contender by now if he hadn't had so many setbacks outside of the cage. Because every time he gets in there, he looks so good, dude. And Ige, I thought, had a great game plan.
In the first?
They started the fight, and he's just pressure,
Non-stop
cracking
pressure.
him, dude. And then, dude, the way he got him up against the fence, unloads a combination. As soon as Lerone tries to counter, he fucking in on the hips. Beautiful takedown. And I was like, dude, this is world-class Dan Ige. This is mixed martial artist Dan Ige. And great scrambles, great grappling transitions, submission attempts to threaten submissions to create openings for scrambles, great Kimura sweeps, like just cool shit going on in this fight. And Dan Ige could not continue that pressure.
No.
He just couldn't do
you
it.
start seeing it in the second round where Murphy really started getting in a rhythm, started feeling comfortable with his range. In the third round, Ige ends up getting another takedown, but seemed more just concerned about the position than anything. And then
because Murphy, right? Murphy was threatening transitions and sweeps and stuff. So Dan Ige was like, I need to control. Ghost says Octopus Guard scrambles in the second round was dope from this fight. Yeah, just so many cool. And this is the first round where Ige cracks him with his left hand and drops him
dropped
after
him.
Lerone overextends, drops him. Lerone survives, and then second round, Lerone really slowed. There's also from this point on the second round barely any photos. So it's just one of those fights where it looks like Dan Ige won this fight based off the photos, but that's the best we could do for the slideshow. There was a really cool also that spin kick from Lerone. I was gonna make a video on it. I still might. Lerone in that second round, he's like, bam, shoulder feints, and Ige hops back. And then he's like, okay, that's the reaction. I'm gonna commit. And then he jabs. Same entry, right? The shoulder feint, the jab. He cracks Dan Ige with the jab, hops back. And then so if you're Ige, you're like, okay, he's gonna commit now. And so Lerone feints it again instead of committing. It's literally like feint, jab, feint, and on this third feint, Ige's like, here comes the jab. I'm gonna counter. Swings and misses. Lerone hops back and then throws that spin kick. It's fucking beautiful, dude. It is so sick, dude. I'll still make the video.
Good.
Talking about it, it was so cool.
So good.
Yeah, and just great fight. And Lerone, it was a close third round though. It really was. I wouldn't have been surprised if they gave that third round to Ige.
Last 10 seconds, won it for Murphy, maybe. That's what I wrote down. Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
All right.
very fun
we're
fight
on the
though.
same page with that one. Yes. We will move on. The next one we're going to be covering is Shara Bullet Magomedov versus Armen Petrosyan.
Go ahead and lock up. A lot of people do. A lot of these shows do one best knockout. I think this is probably the next slide, Rich. Yeah, Shara Bullet versus Armen Petrosyan. A lot of these shows do uh best knockout, and they're knockout of the year, and that's all they do, right? And we always do, well, not always. We started it. We do a best knockout and a greatest knockout, and one is like context matters. What does it mean? All this stuff, and then one is the coolest technique that scored a knockout. I mean, dude, this has to be it. It
So
has
good,
to be
man.
it.
Well, Shar Bullet has this weird stance where like his hands are constantly like moving up and down, kind
His
of
feet
throwing
are
Petrosyan
close.
off. Yeah. Uh, he's super comfortable in the pocket when they're trading, man. And sometimes I don't know if it's because of his hair or something, but it looks like extra wild when he's ducking and throwing
Yeah.
overhands and his hair's just shaking all over the place. But he's just so comfortable, man, and willing to take a shot. But super, super confident in his ability to strike and land something.
Well, I really
Um,
liked Armen in this fight. Leading in the first round, Armen was doing great work with the leg kicks. He was pulling
yes.
him a little bit too much. He's very much a point fighter, but and maybe he just didn't want to commit too much on heavy shots because Shar is such a nasty counter striker that he was like, if I can flick and get out before he can counter, that might be my and just out volume him. And man, I really liked this fight. It was really cool to watch both these guys work. Just two completely different styles, and both
Absolutely,
very
but,
good at it.
to your point, fantastic finish, man. So,
One of the coolest, dude.
yeah, you have Petrosian that comes in. He's probably expecting another one of those little walled exchanges, right? And then you have, Shower Bullet. Was it the right
Well,
spinning back elbow?
I have a video. Oh, well, we have some pictures. He spins, um, and if we just go through these next pictures, Rich, is gonna be like stop motion. So here's the coolest part. Uh, he feints the sidekick, which he had just thrown right before this. He feints the sidekick, and he
Petrosian
steps
reads
down with
it.
it to spin. Yeah, Petrosyan reacts to it. So then instead of kicking, he steps through with it as he puts it down so he can spin. And you're like, okay, cool, spinning back fist. But then he spins the other way. He pulls the Uno reverse, dude. He spins the other way and fucking knocks him out. It was amazing.
So good, man, and as soon as he drops, you're like, "Oh, it's done,"
Dude, he
because
went
it was just one
flying.
of those where he was just like he goes flying, goes down, and then he's just in pain afterwards. Like,
He's
he's not
just,
even checking to see if Sharp Bullet's coming in with any follow-up shots. He's just like, "Ow."
yeah.
What the hell was that?
Dude, great. Because, yeah, everyone says the shots that you don't see coming are the worst ones. He for sure didn't see that coming.
No,
For sure.
no.
And then
What a finish, though.
I have a video we'll play, and hopefully we won't get flagged. Please, UFC, don't flag
No.
us. I'll just play it and stop it a bunch of times. That way it doesn't uh, flag it as us playing the video. But here is the sidekick from Shara Bullet. Bam. Right? So he throws that sidekick, and then he steps back, and then he feints like he's going to do it again. But then he steps through so that he could spin, which is fucking awesome, dude. And
Yeah,
then bam, there's the first one.
and at this
And
point, Petrosian's like, "Nice try, buddy."
yeah, very sneaky, hiding the spinning back fist behind that sidekick that you just threw. But I'm fine. I could take that.
Yeah. Boom.
Fucking hell,
Oh,
dude.
lord.
Please don't flag us, UFC. It's only a second of the clip. Come on. Come on.
I seriously doubt that you saying please don't flag us is gonna make him be like, oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. The risk
All
I'm
right.
willing to take for such a cool fucking knockout. And the
Such an
setup was
awesome
just so
finish.
cool because it's one of those things where it's like, was that just random? No. Not only was the technique not random, he said he's tried it for years, but he also set it up beautifully with the sidekick entry. Really fucking cool. Really cool.
Awesome. All right, man. We'll move on. We have a few fights still left to cover. There's a lot of fights to talk about.
Yeah,
We
most of them will
have
be quick.
yeah, Ibo Aslan versus Rafael Cerqueira.
Whoa, hit that pronunciation, dude. I'm not even
Dude,
gonna
working
try.
on it. Working on it, dude.
God damn. Yeah, I
All
mean, what can
right,
we really
so
even say about this?
Cerqueira coming in, he was still undefeated, right? Going in, and I know we're talking about the night of the undefeateds, but it just wasn't a night for Rafael, dude.
Yeah, it came out of the blue corner, dude. That's his issue. Should have came out of the red corner.
Yeah, but I mean, so much power from Aslan. Lands a shot, rocks Cerqueira pretty early, and from there just goes berserk, dude, and goes to the body, goes up top, goes to the body, goes up top, mixes it up very well, knocks Cerqueira out while standing, wakes him up with another punch,
Yeah,
knocks him out
before he
again,
falls.
wakes him out with another punch, knocks him out again, dude, over and over and over again. And thankfully, the ref decided to show some mercy and call it while he
Yeah.
was still standing.
Yeah, I mean, he basically just blitzed him and overwhelmed him, and that was it. This is like a
Yeah.
very I don't wanna say like a regional MMA fight, but this happens a lot in regional MMA.
Yeah.
You just storm a guy, overwhelm him, and
Goddard
that's it.
almost caught those hands too when he went
Yeah,
in
he
for the
did.
stoppage. Oof,
So,
very
yeah.
close. There would have been bodies on the floor, dude, if Goddard got hit.
Imagine Goddard gets dropped, but not not Rafael.
Cicada? Yeah,
Yeah.
he's just standing there still like, yo, what's going on? No, so props to Aslan. He's 14-1 now. We'll see what he does in the light heavyweight division.
Yeah, I still have no idea anything about
Oh,
him after this. Doesn't really tell me much other than that he can hit hard, but he's a light heavyweight, so yeah,
true.
makes
You know who we
sense.
do know more about? Geoff Hands of Steel Neal versus Rafael dos Anjos. Rafael dos Anjos fighting at 170 again. Sounds like he's made up his mind that he's going to be fighting at 170.
Is he though?
Rafael dos Anjos, what a legend, though. What a
Yeah,
legend.
I mean,
Coming in on his 40th birthday.
yeah. Some would say that's not a good move, but you gotta do what you gotta do, I guess. I don't know if we see him again post 40. If we see a post 40 RDA, I'll be very surprised. And you
Mm.
might be saying, why? He's been doing it for so long. Why would he stop now? Because the first exchange drops him, which obviously Geoff Neal hits hard as fuck. I've seen some
Yeah.
people on Reddit and MMA Twitter and stuff saying that he doesn't really hit that hard, and I'm like, dude,
His Hands of Steel Neal for a reason, dude.
yeah. And look, not only did he make Luque's brain bleed, but we've talked to Frank Camacho, and he's like, by far the hardest I've ever been hit is Geoff Neal. He hit me, and I was like, what just happened? Like he had no idea what the fuck just happened. And Frank Camacho's been in some dog fights.
Yeah,
So
for
for him to
sure.
be like Geoff Neal by far hits harder than anybody I've faced, he hits hard. That being said, he also hit a 40-year-old RDA, drops him, and then the next exchange, he clips him a little bit, and RDA goes down, but he's holding his knee. And yeah, it sucks. So they stopped the fight because he's clearly tore his ACL or something. And that
Might just tore
sucks
his
to see.
entire knee, dude.
Yeah, could be.
ACL, MCL. Take the
Yeah,
meniscus out.
but if you want to see how much of a legend RDA is, look who came to check on him while he was still in pain.
Who? Next picture, maybe?
Yeah, there it is. Bruce Buffer. Even
Oh,
Bruce
man.
Buffer had to go see if he was all right because he's a legend,
Just
and it sucks to
a
see a
legend
legend
to
go down.
another legend, you know?
Yeah, just two legends in there. They both got
Yeah.
abs. One's real, one's fake.
Both of them older abs. Yeah. But props to Geoff Neal, man.
Yeah. What do you
He
think about the new Venom kit, by the way? Is it weird that it's just like Dustin Poirier tattoo as a design?
I never really noticed that. That
I haven't
is
seen anybody say
hilarious.
it. I was gonna make a picture comparing them, but it's like they look at
Wow.
they swagger jack Dustin Poirier, dude.
Good catch. Good
It's weird,
catch.
huh?
Hopefully you got some cash for that, huh?
Best they
Put
could
it
do
to
is
some more hot
$5,000
sauce.
for some sponsorship, whatever they call it, community guideline or whatever the
Oh,
fuck.
man. All right. We'll
Yeah, we can
move
move on.
on. We had Mateusz Rębecki versus Orolbai. I'm not even gonna try this. Myktybek?
Myktybek
Myktybek.
Orolbai, and it's
Myktybek
Mateusz
Orolbai.
Rębecki.
Rębecki?
Yeah, this is a fight of the year contender though.
Holy smokes, what a fight, dude.
Yeah,
From beginning to
I'm
end.
bummed Genevieve isn't in the chat because holy smokes, we got some blood coming.
Oh, yeah, this was a perfect fight for her, huh?
Yeah, I mean, and for you, we got to see Uriah Faber in a funny hat. That's got to be like,
all of our favorite things in just one fight. What can
yeah,
I
I think
say?
the
Yeah.
next.
Look at
I put that in there just for you.
Oh, man, it's like the exact same shape from his chin, but now
Yeah.
on top of his head, dude. That's awesome. But look, another foreign fighter coming out of Team Alpha Male.
Just a
Catchweight bout at
NorCal boy, dude.
160.
Just a NorCal boy, Myktybek Orolbai.
A lot of Orolbais over in Sacramento. And yes, very chaotic first round.
Crazy. Both these guys swinging and banging like they have no regard. Crazy
But
fight,
not a
dude.
sloppy banger. Not a
No,
sloppy
very
banger.
technical. Yeah.
Yes.
It got a little sloppy at
Yes,
the end, but
which I will take. A little bit of everything.
yeah.
Now, the thing I really want to talk about more than anything is the third
Mhm.
round. Like,
Well,
yes,
yeah. Well,
you know,
we
Orolbai
gotta
gets
mention the
caught
eye.
with the left, and it's
Yeah.
completely swollen. Coming out for the second round, it got even worse than before he went
Yeah.
in. Of course, the doctor comes out and says, "How many fingers am I holding up?" Orolbai says, 2. Luckily, he was
Yeah.
holding 2 fingers up,
There's a picture
so
of
they
that
let it
too.
keep going. Oh,
And
really?
you're like, how did he pass this? Maybe
Oh
do
my god.
a couple attempts, maybe not just one. But then what do I know? Because the guy came out there and still dogged it out with them. So
DC's like, I'd always guess 2.
yeah.
It's like they always hold 2 up.
Yeah.
We have Rębecki, who also gets cut up due to a headbutt. So it's just blood everywhere from both these guys. Orolbai's nose also gets busted up. Third round, though, is
Oh my
probably
God.
one of my favorite rounds of the entire year.
Yeah.
So Rębecki drops Orolbai, right? Takes his
Yeah.
back, one arm around his
Beats
back,
the shit out of him.
just laying down right hands as Orolbai tripods and is slowly standing up. The entire
Literally
time
just
he's
like,
slowly
I'll just
standing
eat
up.
these as I'm getting
He's
up.
eating shot after shot after shot. Orolbai gets up against the cage, reverses, and then clinches and pins Rębecki up against the cage. And then they're
Yeah.
just trading shots. They're on the ground. You
It was a
know,
crazy fight, dude.
dude, what was it? Like was it Kimura reversal that we saw or something like that on
Mhm.
the bottom? And then like it was just back and forth. One guy would get swept, the other one would get swept, and then they're landing bombs. It's like if there's any round that anybody's gonna go back and watch from the entire card, like the third
This is the
round from
one.
this fight is
Yeah.
it.
It's
So
crazy,
much
dude.
fun.
And to the point where when he was getting hit on the ground, he looked like a dead person for a second, and Felder's like calling for them to stop the fight. And then he arguably from that point on won that
Yeah.
segment of the round.
Yeah,
It's
that's when we needed Dom
crazy, dude.
Cruz in there to say props to the ref for giving him any chance to earn his
Yeah.
paycheck.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
he most absolutely received every chance possible to earn that paycheck. So
God.
props to Orolbai. Dude, at the end, this was one of those fights where no matter who lost, I
Mhm.
was gonna feel sorry for him. And I was like, just give him a draw.
Yeah, just give him a shot.
Just
Yeah.
give both these guys a draw. You know,
Man, what a fight.
it was a crazy fight. But yeah, I
Yeah, we'll
think
see
this is
what
where we're gonna start or after this next one, we're gonna start skipping fights, right?
yeah, well, we got Abus Magomedov versus Bruno Ferreira, the Hulk. And this will probably be quick too, but there's not a lot of photos from this one. But first round, not a whole lot going on. Bruno
No,
Ferreira
very
pretty much
hesitant.
did nothing.
Heda.
But I
Very
think that
hesitant.
was on purpose. I don't think he was really hesitant. I think he
Mm.
was like every single fight that Abus is in, he gasses after the first round. Like he falls off a cliff. So let's just take this first round off, not give him too much because that's
Mm.
always the balance, right? If you're going to take a round off, you don't want to take it off so much that they gain so much momentum and do damage that it's
Yeah.
hard for you to come back after. So I thought he did a great job. Abus always looks good in the first round. He's so quick. He's fast twitch muscles. But then the second round, then you see the Hulk come out and he starts cracking him, dude. He hit him so hard so many times. And I was like, this is peak Abu's fight, where the first round he looks pretty good, and then the second round he starts getting destroyed. Um, and he gets dropped, right? I think he knocked him down at one point. Um, I mean, he was just cracking him. Uh, but
Yeah, he had like that step in jab, which seemed to
yeah,
really hurt a boost. But nothing really came of it.
yeah, and the left hand, the left straight kept landing, knocking his head backwards. Um, and yeah, Abus survived it, but was looking slow. And I was like, man, what a great game plan from the Hulk. We can just keep this going. And then third round, made a couple mistakes. And Abus did some great work on the third round on the ground. And then he sinks in the arm triangle. Gets the choke and he wins.
Yep. Fun fight.
Yeah.
Good fight. I enjoyed it.
There it
After
is.
the first round, or during the first round, I was like, man, I don't know about this fight. Thoroughly enjoyed it from that point on.
Yeah, after the first round, I was like, I really hope that Ferreira is doing what I think he's doing, and he's going to start working after this first round as Abu slows down. And that was exactly it. And that's how everybody should
Magomedov
fight
looking
Abus.
massive too.
Yeah, that's how everybody should fight Abus. And but it's not a guarantee.
Yep. All right. We will move on. We had Kennedy and Nzechukwu versus Chris Barnett. Look, dude, Barnett coming out dancing. Got one
fucking
of the
love Chris
loudest
Barnett.
pops. Who doesn't?
His
Look at that
knees.
smile, dude. He's so happy.
Yeah,
Look at
and
that.
he had a fight. His wife dies. Then then his house gets destroyed in the hurricane. So he has to pull out of his fight. He's coming back from an Achilles tendon tear. And you're like, man, this guy just has a tough go, man. The UFC left him at the hospital one time. They forgot to shuttle him back. So he was like, he had to walk home after a fight or walk to the hotel after a fight because they forgot to pick him
What?
up. Like, this guy has such bad luck, and he seems like such a good dude and so happy and just like
Oh
he's
my
fun to
God,
watch. He
dude.
does the front flip into the butt slam, like he cracks, but he's also 38, coming off of an Achilles injury.
And severely overweight. Let's be real here.
Oh, damn, dude, you had that severely?
Look, let's be real here.
Yeah.
And this is the thing, because he gets the Achilles injury, and then he's a big boy that moves against any law of physics.
Yeah.
Physics.
Yep.
He's
Throwing wheel
fast,
kicks and
wheel
Yeah.
kicks, the dancing and everything, but that also takes a toll on your ligaments,
Yeah, it
on your
does.
joints, when you are severely overweight like that
Yeah.
and moving your body the way that you're moving it. And look, I mean, no disrespect, but let's just be real here.
Let's call it spade a
Like,
spade.
let's call a spade, and
Yeah.
that it did not surprise me to see him get hurt again.
No. It just sucks. I hate seeing a fight like this end like this because the next picture I think will show probably that Achilles tore again.
Oh, and I hate it too because
the next photo.
Nzechukwu actually looked pretty good in his heavyweight debut.
He looked very good. He's in pain
Ooh.
there. He threw a spinning wheel kick, and you could see his knee kind of buckle. And we'll show what I think actually did it. And I caught it live too, and I was like, that didn't look good. But we'll get there in photos. There's not really much else to talk about in the fight. Nzechukwu did look good, kept him at the end of his punches, and his kicks looked phenomenal at heavyweight. Here it is, the start of the fight. He jumps up, slams his feet down, does not land well. He falls back, falls into the fence. Very reminiscent of Brian Ortega before his Yair fight, where he did the same thing and he rolled his ankle real bad. And he poker faced it, but yeah, not good.
Do you think he just wanted to show everybody, like, I'm back, I'm good, this injury didn't hurt me?
Well, he is 3 months off, and his doctor said it's a miracle that that it healed so quickly. And you're like, I don't want to trust that.
Man.
But also, he just lost his house, so he probably needs money. So, like, yeah,
That's
it sucks.
tough. That's tough. All right. We'll move on before we start crying again.
Yeah.
What a rough night, huh?
Yeah, all my boys.
Great card. A lot of fun.
Great card.
Yeah, but man,
We're
lot of
skipping the
heartbreak
next
as
two
well.
fights, though. Get to this last one.
Yeah. We had Fakhretdinov versus Carlos Leal.
Versus Carlos Leal. Leal on his UFC debut. This is a fucking awesome fight. I love this fight. Especially because Leal coming in on his debut, Rinat has ran through most of the people he's faced other than Dalby. You may remember him knocking out Kevin Lee. He's a savage. But Leal, dude, he looks so good.
Looked fantastic. Landed a lot of heavy leg kicks.
Oh my God.
Was taken down a few times early in the first, but Leal got right back up. And they made a great point. They're like, hey, if you're Leal and you get taken down like that and you get right back up, you're not worried going forward. You're pressing because even if he does take you down, you know that you can get back up very easily. So just have at it. And he did. He continued pressuring the whole time. A lot of strange adult acne from Neal. Not sure where that's coming from.
That could be a side effect of something, but it's neither here nor there.
Acai.
Acai.
Yes.
But yeah, great. I love the way he rolls with shots. He turns his head perfectly. He clearly understands the rhythm of striking so that he can roll. HB Comer says they completely robbed that roided up guy. Yeah, coming right out and saying it. That's a comment. That's not
Comer, man. We missed having you in the chat because there's been so many times, even if I can't necessarily read back what you're saying, but there's times where I'm just laughing, reading off to the side. But nice to have you back, man.
Josh says it runs in his veins. Shout out Austin says, missed the first half of the card yesterday. And honestly, with how sad my boy's losing made me, I should have just skipped it. I hope the rest of the stream goes great, guys. Shout out Austin.
We were just talking about that. It was a rough night.
Yeah.
It was a rough night.
But yeah, they all looked very good. Great hands. I loved his takedown defense, just stopping Rinat dead in his tracks, and people just don't do that. So that's special takedown defense. It's not like he's defending takedowns off some bum. Great head movement to roll with shots, take the power away from him. Really cool foot sweeps, trips in the clinch also.
Oh yeah,
and then
I like how he didn't follow up on those.
Yeah,
because Leal just tripped him. Yeah, and for somebody that's a wrestler like Rinat, just to be able to do that to him and just watch him and just be like, dude, just get back up, man. Come on, what are you doing?
Get back up. So
what are you doing down there? Yeah.
And the leg kicks, the power play, beautiful.
Power play. Now, after he lost, maybe should have followed up on some of those, right? In hindsight.
No, because I think, he won this fight. I thought he took rounds 1 and 2. I thought you could give Rinat the third round. Leal was clearly slowing down. And then they gave it to Rinat somehow.
Well, somebody though had to go.
Seriously though, I like this attitude. Good fight. Looking forward to Leal's next fight. 100%.
For sure.
Especially this is his debut. Got jitters, all this stuff. Some people saying this wasn't a robbery because it was closer than people want to pretend, but that 30-27 scorecard should legit get that one judge fired. Here's the thing. I rewatched it this morning. I do not know how you can give Rinat rounds 1 and 2. It's not like he got completely destroyed, but it's just crazy to me. You can see here on MMA Decisions, not one media member gave Rinat the fight. Shout out to Val Dewar on there on the top of that list. But pretty bad.
Wow.
Pretty bad. And I see people blaming commissions and stuff. There is no commission there. This is the UFC handling business, and this is on them. There's no commission.
There you go. So, there's no Abu Dhabi commission?
The UFC, when they go there, the UFC operates as its own commission.
Nice.
I think they have one now, but it's the UFC still.
Well, right on. Well, that's the last fight we're going to cover. We just covered UFC 308. Do we have any fights that we lost, Will? A moment of silence for those we lost?
Yes, we lost some fights. Moment of silence for Rob's teeth. Moment of silence for the Achilles of my boy Chris Barnett. Moment of silence for the knee of RDA. Moment of silence of Cyril Gane versus Volkov. That would have been cool.
That would have been awesome.
Rinat was originally supposed to fight Ruziboev. That would have been a very fun fight as well, but we still got a good one. Delima was supposed to fight Nzechukwu. Delima withdrew. Kind of wish he didn't because then Chris Barnett wouldn't have stepped in. Nzechukwu was also supposed to fight Justin Tafa. That didn't happen. And then 3 days before the event, Said Magomedov lost his opponent in Daniel Santos. And that would have been good also. That would have been a very good fight.
Good fights that we lost. How about bonuses? Who got extra monies?
Yeah, bonuses. Ilia got one for becoming the first person to knock out Max Holloway.
Well deserved.
Khamzat got one for breaking the teeth out of Rob's mouth.
Well deserved as well.
Well deserved. Shara Bullet got one for his double back fist knockout. Double back fist all the way across the sky. He got
well deserved as well. That was good.
And then fight of the night, Rębecki versus Orolbai. Because obviously that's a fight of the year.
At the end, just handing out bonuses left and right. What's going on, dude?
It's crazy.
Wow. People that deserve bonuses are getting bonuses?
Yeah. Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? All right. Well, that's all for UFC 308. What do we have going on next week, though?
Next week we have UFC in Edmonton. This is a special UFC event. For those who don't know, this is the first event with the new unified rules, with the new down opponent rule and the 12-6 elbows.
Let's go.
And
Steps
we
in the
have
right direction, huh?
confirmation. Yeah, we have confirmation that the Edmonton Athletic Commission is going to observe the new rules. So that is no point of like, are they accepting the new rules? Because some places aren't, and all this. They are. So we'll get to see the new rules. We got Brandon Moreno versus Amir Albazi.
What a
Thug
fight.
Rose versus
That's
Aaron
gonna be a good one.
Blanchfield. That's a great fight. I know people hate
Yeah.
Thug Rose because of the Esparza fight. I don't give a fuck. I still am ride or die. I think that's going to be a very fun fight. Derek Lewis versus Denise is crazy. Incoming Derek Lewis knockout. I mean that with no disrespect. We got an 831 fighter, Kyle Machado. We got
Dang, an 821 fighter, huh?
Yeah, that's my boy
That's
now.
crazy.
And then Stolpitz is fun against Marc-Andre Barrio. Mike Mallet is back after the humbling of the gate being kept from Neil Magny. Eamon Zahawi versus Pedro Munoz is a great fight. That's crazy that it's so far down on the card. Your girl, Ariana Lipsky, is back against Jasmine Jazavicius. That's a fun fight, too.
That is going to be a good fight.
Too mean. Oh, Victor Henry versus Charles Jourdain.
Charles Jourdain. That's a banger right there, too.
Yeah.
Dude, there's a
Romanov
lot of good
versus
fights on this one.
Nascimento. City versus Garrett Armfield. Oh, Garrett Armfield's so fucking cool. I like that guy. Cody Gibson versus Chad. Oh, that's dude. This is a good card, man. Jack Shore
Yeah,
is
look, you
opening
still have
against
Jack Shore
Yusuf
there.
Zalal. Wow,
Zalal's been on a tear too, man.
he has. That's a great card.
That's gonna be a really good fight. That's a great card.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it. Well, hey, shout out to everybody that joined us. HLB Comer, Austin, Coleslaw. We had Ghost join us as well. Anonymous. We had David that hopped on as well. We also had Gans Cal in the very beginning. So thank you everybody for joining us and chatting. It makes the podcast so much better whenever y'all join us live. And just a reminder for anybody that might be tuning in for the first time, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We're trying to reach 20,000 subscribers. We're steady climbing on our way over there. And if you don't like watching on YouTube, they can also find us in other places, right, Will?
Yeah, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere podcasts are found. We stream on Twitch as well. Yeah, Story of the Fight on everything. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit. Hit us up. Chat with us. We love talking fights. Austin says, to be fair, I don't hate Rose just because the Carla fight.
There we go.
Yeah, there's
there
other
are
reasons.
other reasons.
Yeah.
All right. Well, big shout out to everybody. Thanks again for joining us. And in case you're wondering who is helping produce this podcast, none other than Mr. Richard Bustos. There it is. Shout out to Rich. And thank you, everybody, for joining us for another week of Story of the Fight.